when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve political bands which have connected them with another. That phrase represents the impetus of our founding as a country. Still, it has as much bearing today as it has any day in the last 244 years, as many are contemplating the necessity of dissolving political bands. Consider the people of Hong Kong. We've watched them struggle against the chains dragging them down a slippery slope towards the cliff's edge for years. But this week it happened, and the people of Hong Kong lost a level of autonomy they will never regain. Undoubtedly, some of them will be looking to dissolve some political bands. I would love to be the shining city on the hill for them, but I fear too many of us have lost faith in freedom. That lack of faith has plagued us more this year than any of the external challenges we faced. We started the year with an administration that was not honest with us about the risk of a disease that threatened our shores, apparently because approval ratings and points on the stock market are more important than people being able to make informed decisions about their health. The only tests the FDA and CDC allowed doctors to use were flawed, because maintaining authority over which test doctors use for the sake of security theater seems to be more important than doctors having the freedom to learn which test actually help their patients in the field. So early spread of COVID in our country was detected by doctors using illegal tests. We had PPE shortages because we disallow prices floating enough to justify speculators maintaining PPE reserves for decades until the day it is needed, nor justify the risk of rapidly expanding production lines and increasing wages to those working the lines, despite the fact government's vision of what might be needed is always narrow compared to that of the market. So instead, many people ended up demanding that our president force companies, their suppliers, and their employees with the Defense Production Act. They told us masks would not help us. They told us masks might put us at more risk. Then they told us masks are recommended. Then some of them require that we wear masks. But this coronavirus is stopped by mask, or not stopped by mask, in the same ways as other coronaviruses that have been around for hundreds of years. Did they learn that much about masks since March? Or did they change their mind about what they wanted to tell us in order to control us? Did they ever consider that if they gave us their best information on day one, but implored us to prioritize our healthcare workers, that we might have listened? And what of those who want to come here? Do they carry the Wuhan flu? Are they coming for our jobs, our welfare, or maybe our unemployment? Free people trade with one another. They create wealth and opportunity. History teaches us again and again that people coming here to be free create great wealth for all, and that is probably the greatest heritage of our country. Yet it is the country that we cut ties with that is reaching out to the people of Hong Kong and offering them a new home. But perhaps no place better represents our abandonment of freedom than the war on drugs. They cracked down on cannabis to get at the hippies. They cracked down on heroin to get at the blacks. They created an illicit market, incentivized gang violence, incentivized border violence, deprived users of safe products, and used our political power abroad to export the violence to South America. Still, none of this is enough to stop people from putting things in their body that some of us think they should not. So we ask, maybe if we confiscate assets from people who have not been proven guilty, maybe if we arm the police better and ask them to be more aggressive, let's try policing with armored vehicles and tear gas. Have we tried stopping and frisking? What about profiling? Let's kick in some doors, or maybe kneel on some necks. We lost this door the day it started, because it infringes on the freedom of individuals who are not hurting others. It is the war itself that is the primary driver of collateral damage. We cannot save people from themselves, and if we focus on doing so anyway, we won't be able to be there for them when they're finally ready to help themselves. With all this conflict among us, It's no wonder that so many Americans are open to the idea of their state seceding. 86%, and that was in 2017. I don't imagine it's any lower today. As for me, I'm not ready for that. This country was founded on the understanding that different communities would want to live differently, and the key to that working is having a small federal government with limited powers. But both the two old parties have betrayed that vision. So maybe it's time to dissolve political bans to the old parties. I'm running for Congress for Kentucky's 2nd District, and I'm running as a libertarian. I believe in giving Washington less control of your lives so that you can have more control. You can learn more about me at perry4ky.com. Also, check out Jo Jorgensen and Spike Cohen, who are running for president and vice president at joj2020.com. Check out Brad Barron at bradbarron2020.com. Brad is running against Mitch McConnell and Amy McGrath. I thought that might be a race you would be interested in. Finally, check out lpky.org, where you can learn about even more of our candidates who are running in Kentucky. We libertarians have tremendous faith in what you can do when you're free to work together, and this is a great weekend to start. I do want you to enjoy this weekend, but maybe you won't mind spending just a few minutes thinking about what I've said. Have a great July 4th.